Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to crochet this SpongeBob hat. The instructions in this video are going to give you a standard child size. There are links in the description below, some helpful links to the written pattern and some other information as well as the materials needed. So take a look at the description below. I am using a 5mm hook in this project. And the yarn that I'm using is Bernat Super Value yarn. Again, more information is in the description below. So for now, let's just go ahead and get started making our SpongeBob hat. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started by making our starting loop. Wrap the yarn around your finger like this, pull up a little bit of the bottom piece and push just a little bit of the top piece through. Go ahead and get that onto your hook. And now we're gonna start by making our chain. You're going to yarn over your hook, pull right through, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to keep on going for a chain of 30. So just keep on repeating this until you have 30 chains and then come back. All right, so now that you have your starting chain, we're going to go into the second chain from our hook with a half double crochet. Yarn over, push your hook through the chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. We're going to repeat again into the next chain with another half double crochet, and we're going to keep on going all the way down until you get to the very end of the chain. So by the end of this chain, you should have a total of 29 stitches because we started working in the second chain from our hook. So go ahead and finish and come back. Okay, so now we finished our first row. So we're going to move on to row number 2, and row 2 until 17 is going to be the same. So chain 1, turn your work, and work 1 half double crochet into every single stitch all the way down. So you're going to do this for this row right through and finishing row 17. So until you have a total of 17 rows worked of just doing 1 half double crochet into every single stitch all the way down, you'll chain 1 and turn your work at the end of every row. So once you finish that for 17 rows, total of rows worked, come back and I will show you what we're going to do next. Okay, so we're going to start and end this next row with a half double crochet decrease. So yarn over, push your hook through the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, push your hook in the stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 4 loops on your hook. Okay, so now what you're going to do is continue on. You're going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way down the row except for the last 2. You'll finish with another half double crochet decrease and then come back. Okay, so for this next row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. We're going to work 1 half double crochet into every stitch all the way down. So just a regular half double crochet into each stitch all the way down your work. And because of those decreases we did in the last row, your stitch count should now be 27. So go ahead and finish and come back. Okay, now we're going to switch to white. So make a starting loop with your white yarn and go ahead and get that onto your hook and pull it through the loop, and now we'll chain 1 with our white yarn. Turn your work and we're going to work 1 half double crochet stitch into each stitch down the row. At the end, you'll chain 1, turn your work, and do 1 more row with the white. So we're doing 2 rows with our white yarn, working just 1 half double crochet into each stitch. So go ahead and finish those 2 rows and then come back. Okay, so this is now our first panel of our hat. Fasten off, pull that little tail end through. So there's your first panel of your hat. We're going to go ahead and follow these exact same steps for the other panels. So you can just pause the video here, restart it from the beginning, do a second panel, and then come back. Okay, so let's make the nose. We're going to make a magic ring. Wrap the yarn around your fingers like this, crossing it over itself. Push your hook under that first piece over the second, and gently pull to scoop up a loop. Okay. You're going to carefully pull your hand out and pick up your working yarn. We're going to chain 1 and work single crochets into the ring. So push your hook right in the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops on your hook. And we're going to do this for 4 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and making sure to work over both pieces of the yarn. That's 3 and 4. Pick up the little tail end in the magic ring to pull it closed. And we're going to close this round with a slip stitch into the chain 1 from the beginning of this round that we just did. Okay, so it is a small round that we're going to be working with right now. Just try and get your stitches straightened out there. We're going to chain 1 and work a single crochet, 1 single crochet into each chain all the way around. And you're going to close with a slip stitch into the chain 1 space from the beginning. We're going to do this for a total of 3 rounds. So you will have a total of 4 rounds worked for the nose because of working the single crochets into the ring, and now we're doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around, closing with a slip stitch in the chain 1 space from the start of our round. It could be a little tricky when it's so small like this, so have a look and make sure that you are closing into the actual slip stitch of your work. Okay, and you're going to of course then chain 1 and do the same thing. So we're going to, as I said, work this for a total, the 1 single crochet in each stitch around, close with the slip stitch, chain 1. You're doing that for a total of 3 rounds. So we're starting our second round right now. Now the tail end of from your magic ring, from starting the magic ring, might kind of be getting in your way a little bit here, unless you're working around it as you go. But I'm going to, probably after this round, I'm going to kind of stuff it into the middle, maybe snip it off and stuff the rest of it into the middle. I'm just going to finish this round and I'll show you what I mean. And close this one with a slip stitch. This is round 2. And I'm going to chain 1 to get ready to begin my last round for the nose, but I'm going to get this tail end out of the way here. So could just fasten it off right there close to the edge of my work without cutting the yarn that I'm working with, and just stuff that little bit into the nose. Okay, that also kind of helps you shape it a little bit and stretch out your stitches. So I'm going to go get it back on my hook and just do 1 more round of 1 single crochet into each of the 4 stitches all the way around. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so finish up that last stitch, close with your slip stitch into the chain 1 from the start of your round. Just counting my stitches to make sure I'm closing in the slip stitch in the chain 1 and not an actual stitch of my work. Okay, and there you go. You have your little SpongeBob nose. So pull off a bit of a tail end because we're going to use the tail end to sew it onto the face. And you could just put that aside for now, and we'll go ahead and work on the rest of the face. So let's go ahead and make the eyes. Okay. I'm using black yarn. I know it's a little hard to see with the darker yarn, but we need this for the eyes. So we're going to make a magic ring again. And we're going to, so put your hook under that first bit over the second piece and pull it under to scoop up a loop. All right, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to work 5 single crochets into the magic ring, working up around both pieces of yarn. So push your hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through both loops, probably pro at single crochet by now anyway. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to grab the tail end from our magic ring to pull it closed and close with a slip stitch in that chain 1 space from the start of your round. Okay, again, just making sure that I'm closing into my chain 1. So close that with a slip stitch, and now we're going to fasten this off and we're going to switch to blue. Okay, so grab your blue yarn and make a starting loop and get that onto your hook. Pull it through the loop that's already on your hook so that you're not using black, and we're going to drop that and just be working with blue. Chain 1. We're going to work 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around. All right, again, I do apologize for the difficult to see darker color yarn, but hopefully following the instruction, just seeing for this portion that you'll be able to make it out. So I'm just working 2 single crochets into each stitch all the way around. It'll get easier to see because we're after the blue, we're going to be working with the white yarn, and the blue for the next round is also, it's a little easier to see, so you'll be able to see the stitches a little more. So bear with me at this part. We're working 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So now by the end of this round, you should have a total of 10 stitches. Close your round with a slip stitch in the chain 1 space from the start of your round. Sorry, my chain at the beginning obviously was a little bit tighter than usual. Struggled there a bit for the slip stitch. Okay. I'm just securing all the openings and where I connected the yarn here. Okay, so let's chain 1, start our next round. So 2 single crochets into the first stitch, 1 single crochet into the next one. 2 single crochets in the following stitch, 1 single crochet in the next, and you're going to just repeat this all the way around and then come back. So now you should have a total of 15 stitches. We're going to switch to white. So go ahead and make your starting loop, get the white yarn onto your hook and pull it through the loop to drop the blue, and we're going to continue on with white now. Chain 1, and we're continuing increasing. So we're going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch, and 1 single crochet into each of the following 2 stitches. So 1 and 1. You're going to do 2 in the next, 1 in each of the following 2, and you're going to continue that all the way around, and by the end of this round you should have a total of 20 stitches. So finish that up and come back. Okay, so now you're going to chain 1. We're going to do 2 single crochets in the first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the following 3, 2 in the next, and you're going to continue repeating all the way around and then come back. Okay, so this next round is going to be a little different. We're going to continue to increase the way we have been. So 2 single crochets in our first stitch, 1 single crochet into each of the following 4 stitches. 3, okay. And then we're going to do, so that's 1 set of this repeat. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 into each of the following 4. That's 2 sets. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets in the following, 1 in each of the next 4. And one more time, we're going to work 2 single crochets into the next stitch. So we're doing that repeat one more time. So 1 into each of the following 4 stitches, 3 and 4. Now for the last 5 stitches of our round, we're going to work slip stitches. And the reason why is it shapes the eye a little bit better, I find. So it's going to make just kind of that one section of the eye not have as much height to it. So we're going to slip stitch into each of the last 5 stitches of this round and working our way to the beginning here where we're going to close with a slip stitch in the chain 1 space. Okay, we're going to go and pick up our black yarn again. Don't worry if your work is curling a bit. Grab your black yarn, make your starting loop, and it will curl a bit more after this round, but don't worry if that's happening, okay? So we're going to get the black yarn onto our hook and pull it through that loop to drop the white and chain one with the black. Okay, and now we're going to be working back loop slip stitches all the way around. So go over your stitch into the back loop only and just work a regular slip stitch, and we're going to do that into every single stitch all the way around. It just gently outlines the eye without making it a super thick round. So continue around and then come back. Okay, so close your round with a slip stitch in the chain one space and pull up a decent length of a tail end to fasten it off, because we're going to use that tail end to sew it onto our hat. Now, as I said, it will be curling a little bit, but don't worry, because you're going to be able to stretch it out how you want. And when you secure it to the face, it won't do that anymore. So don't worry. Go ahead and repeat these steps for the other eye and come back. Okay, so now we've got both eyes done. Let's just position them on the hat, just kind of having a look and seeing how we want it to go, and just make sure that we're happy with where it is. Then you're going to grab your tapestry needle and we're going to use the tail end to fasten it to the hat. So just push it in, making sure that you're working through the black yarn of the hat, the eyeball, because we're using the black yarn to secure it. So you want to make sure that you're working whatever the color yarn is that you're working to sew it onto the face, that you're working into that color of yarn on the eye to make sure that you don't, change the look of it. And I am not a sewer by any means, so don't feel intimidated by this part. Doesn't matter how good the stitches look if the hat's inside out. It's all about just what it looks like on the outside. So continue sewing it on all the way around. You're going to use your white tail end to fasten with the white just to get it on there real secure. Repeat for the other eye so you have both eyes on the hat, and then come back and we will move on to the next piece. Do the nose as well while you're at it using the same technique, just sewing it onto the face by working into the stitches and into the hat to connect it. When you're done attaching the eyes and the nose, come on back and I'll show you what we're going to do next. You'll just use some black yarn to eyeball it and fasten a mouth on. So we're not making a mouth, you're just sort of using the black yarn to stitch the mouth on by just working in and out of a couple of stitches across the face till you get the shape you want. There's not any real rhyme or reason how to do it. Just sewing it on and off how you sewed on the eyes. Just use black yarn to sew on a mouth. And then we're going to now work on the teeth. So we just want a little smile like that to work with, and we're going to work on the teeth now. Okay, so grab some white yarn, make your starting loop, and we're going to chain 4. So just make a chain of 4 with your white yarn, and we're going to work 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook and each remaining chain down the row. So you'll have a total of 3 stitches. Okay, this is just for one tooth. So chain 1, turn your work, 1 single crochet into each stitch down the row, chain 1, turn your work, and we're going to do it one more time. 1 single crochet into each of those 3 stitches down your little row. Okay, pull up a bit of a tail end. This is what you're going to use to sew it onto the face. So pull up a longer than usual tail end and fasten it off. Repeat for the other tooth. And let's go ahead and take a look at how we want to position them on the face. So once you are happy with where they are, same thing. We're just going to go ahead and use our tapestry needle to sew it onto the face. So you're going to use the same technique you did with the eyes and the nose. And we're just going to connect it to the face by working in and out of the stitches, going through the hat and sewing on both teeth, lining it up with the mouth there in the front. And once you get both teeth connected, then come back and I'll show you how we're going to outline them. Okay, so we're going to make our starting loop. Get that onto the tapestry needle here. And going in from behind, we're going to push that through and pull it up, because you're going to have your little loop back there, and you can push this through the next. We're outlining the teeth, and I just like to go and get it into the loop and hold it in place. Just secures it on a little bit better. Okay, so we're just going to be working along the outer edge of the teeth. So you're working in and out of the yellow portion of the face. You're not pushing the yarn needle through the tooth part. We're working just really closely beside it to outline it. Just gives it that a good finishing definition. It makes it look not incomplete. So we're going to go ahead and continue on outlining the teeth with our black yarn. When you finish outlining it, come on back. Okay, so now we've got the face on. Grab the other panel of your hat and keep the face facing you and put the other panel over top of it, because when we're connecting, we want our hat to be inside out, because we don't want the seams to show on the outside of our hat. So now we're going to work slip stitches. For the white part, instead of having to get new yarn, if you have tail ends there, you can just use the tail ends. Oh, I just pulled a little bit of it through. I'm just going to fix this here. You can use your tail ends that you have from the white yarn to connect it, because it's only going to be a couple of stitches. If your tail end is not long enough, that's fine. You can reconnect your yarn with your white yarn or the yellow. It's not going to show through anyway, so it's fine. Get your hook, connect it at a bottom corner, and work through both sides of your work, because we're going to connect it and close the seam. I have a bit of a long tail end, so I'm just going to begin here with pulling it up and making my chain 1. And we're just slip stitching evenly all the way along the side of our work. So again, as you can see, just because I'm working into the white part and I happen to have a longer tail end of the white yarn, I'm just making use of that for these first couple of stitches. It's a little bit awkward. Don't let it discourage you. Just take your time so you don't pull any stitches apart. But because we're not working into any stitches, we're working along the side of our work, you just want to take your time and make sure that you're doing it evenly. But yeah, just take your time. So now I'm just pushing my yarn into the yellow. I'm going to grab my yellow yarn and make a starting loop and connect it. So I'm making a starting loop. I'm going to get that onto my hook, pull it through, and chain 1. Now I'm going to work slip stitches evenly all the way up this side of my work. And you're just going to continue on working your slip stitches evenly all the way up the side that you're on right now. You'll work across the top and down the other side to connect both panels together. Okay, so I'll leave you to it. Just go ahead and work all the way around all 3 sides, connecting your seams, and then come back and I'll show you how we're going to finish up. We're almost done our hat. So go ahead and finish that up and then come back. Okay, so now remembering our hat is obviously inside out. We're going to flip it around so it's the right way. Poke out, just use your hand to poke out those little corners on the top, because it's a square, supposed to be a square. All right. Oh my gosh, I love the way that it's starting to look. I hope you guys are happy with it so far. And we're going to put the finishing touch with the brown. You can put some eyelashes if you want to, but let's go ahead and work our last couple rounds of the hat with the brown. So reconnect. I like to put my hook right at one of the seams along the side. Grab your brown yarn, and we're going to make a starting loop to get that onto our hook. Okay, pull it right through and chain 1. And now we're going to work half double crochet stitches into every single stitch all the way around. So just that simple. You're just going to keep on going, working 1 half double crochet in every stitch all the way around. You're going to close each round with a slip stitch in the chain 1 space and chain 1 to start the next round. And you'll do this for a total of 4 rounds. So a total of 4 rounds, working 1/2 double crochet in every stitch around, close with a slip stitch in your chain 1 space, chain 1 to start the next round. So finish this round, and then you're going to repeat it 3 more times. You'll use a tapestry needle to weave in any loose tail ends that you have left throughout your work, and you're done. I hope you've enjoyed this pattern. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a look at the helpful links in the description below.